Pack your things. You're done here. The words sliced across the restaurant sharper than the clink of silverware. For a moment, the laughter at nearby tables quieted, and the chandeliers above seemed to glare down like judgmental eyes. Amara's hands shook. The silver tray she had been holding nearly slipped, glasses rattling as she steadied herself. Her breath caught in her throat, and her heart hammered like it wanted to escape. Slowly, she turned toward the door, her pendant catching the light with a faint shimmer. That was when it happened. A man at table 7, silent all evening, hidden behind a tailored suit and an unreadable expression, rose suddenly to his feet. His eyes weren't on Amara's face. They weren't on the tray in her trembling hands. His gaze was locked on the necklace resting against her chest. His expression froze in shock. This wasn't humiliation anymore. It was the beginning of a revelation that would change everything. Dear story lovers, welcome. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. We'd love to see how far this story travels. Amara had worked long shifts at this upscale restaurant for years. She wasn't here by choice, not really. Life had cornered her into it. She'd balanced endless bills, helped her younger brother through college, and still carried the heavy grief of losing her mother far too young. The necklace she wore was her anchor, a small silver pendant shaped like an ancient crest. It was all she had left of her mother. Its history was a mystery, whispered about in family tales, but for Amara, it wasn't about history. It was about memory, about love, and so she wore it every day, even while working double shifts, even when sweat and exhaustion clung to her. It was her reminder that dignity couldn't be stripped from her, no matter how invisible she felt. Invisible, that was the word. The wealthy patrons she served barely looked at her. Some smiled politely, others spoke to her with condescension, as though her skin alone made her less. Amara knew the sting of being overlooked, dismissed, treated as if she were nothing more than a shadow passing between white tablecloths. But she endured, because she needed this job. On that fateful evening, the restaurant glowed, as usual. Chandeliers sparkled. Wine glasses caught the light. Laughter rose from every corner, echoing off the marble floors. Amara worked with her practiced grace, balancing trays, refilling glasses, biting back every tired sigh. And then the couple arrived. They swept in late, draped in wealth, their presence as loud as the diamond necklace around the woman's throat. From the moment Amara approached their table, their whispers began, sharp, ugly, dismissive. "I don't want her serving us," the woman said, her voice just loud enough to carry. "Find someone else." A hush spread across the nearby tables. Some guests turned their heads. Others pretended not to hear. Amara's stomach twisted, but she stood tall. This wasn't new. She had endured such moments before. But tonight, the humiliation took a sharper edge. The manager stepped in, not to defend her, but to appease the wealthy guests. His expression was cold, his tone final. "Amara, you're done for the night. Collect your things. You're fired." The word struck like a hammer. Her breath caught. Her chest burned. Fired for existing. Fired for being black in the wrong place at the wrong time. The couple smirked in triumph. Whispers rippled across the restaurant. Some eyes looked away. Others watched with cruel interest, as though it were entertainment. Amara stood frozen. The tray shook in her hands. Every part of her wanted to scream, to fight back, to demand fairness. But the weight of her reality pressed her down. She needed this job, and now it was ripped from her in the middle of the room. Tears blurred her vision as she turned toward the exit. And then, silence. At table 7, the man in the suit stood. A billionaire CEO, known only in whispers across financial circles, but invisible to most here tonight. He had been quiet all evening. Now his eyes locked on her pendant, glowing faintly under the chandelier's light. His face shifted, curiosity, disbelief, shock. "Where did you get that?" His voice cut through the room like thunder. Amara froze. Her hand instinctively clutched the necklace protectively. Confusion rippled through her. Why did this stranger care about her pendant? "It was my mother's," she whispered, her voice trembling. "It's all I have left of her." The man's hands trembled as he reached into his pocket. Slowly, he unfolded a photograph, worn with age. The entire restaurant seemed to lean closer. In the photograph was a black woman, smiling decades ago, the identical pendant shining around her neck. The CEO's chest heaved. His voice shook. That woman was my mother's best friend, the sister she lost contact with long ago. Gasps rippled across the room. Amara's knees weakened. Her heart thundered in her chest. It couldn't be, but the truth stood between them, an unbroken chain of history revealed by silver light. Amara wasn't just a stranger. She was family. The billionaire CEO stepped forward, placing a steadying hand on her shoulder. His voice was calm but unshakable. She will not leave this place in shame. She leaves with her dignity intact, and more opportunities than any of you could imagine. The manager, pale and trembling, stuttered apologies. But it was too late. The damage had been done. The restaurant, once filled with mocking whispers, now sat in stunned silence. Amara wasn't just a waitress anymore. She was a reminder of how injustice can try to erase dignity, but cannot erase destiny. What began as an act of humiliation ended as a reunion tied by bloodlines and resilience. And her story reached far beyond the walls of that restaurant. Because for every Amara, there are countless others, dismissed, disrespected, humiliated, before their true worth is ever seen. Dear audience, if this story touched you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to be reminded. Dignity cannot be erased.